All right, everybody, welcome back to part 2 of Breslov Minhagim, or customs. I did the first video in November 1st actually, and I just have not had time to do the second part of the customs that I found in sefer Siach Sarfei Kodesh until today. So we are going to continue. Just like I said in the first video, again, these are not, not every single Breslover does these. Rebbe Nachman was very mapped that we all follow Shulchan Aruch. That's the sefer Minhagim of Breslov, basically. But there are, certain things that developed over the years by the Chassidim and certain parts of davening and certain things, and it's good to know about. It's good to know what the Ziknei Breslov did, and all that good stuff. So we're reading from Siach Sarfei Kodesh, the old version. There's a new version, like I spoke about before in many videos. In Chelek Ches, they have some Minhagim and Nuschois. So let's start where we left off. We left off the last video at piece Kuf Samach Tes. If you watched the last video, I'll leave a link to the description. And in this video, we're going to start with Kuf Ayin. So it says that the minhag of the Anash in Uman on Rosh Hashanah, by Ma'ariv on Rosh Hashanah, you say the Parak Tehillim of the David Mizmor after Ma'ariv. And today we say it, the Chazan says one pasuk, and then everybody says the second, and then everybody repeats it after him, and that's how they do it. But according to this, back then in Uman, they would say it continuously, all together, with a lot of Hisoyros, and they would not stop in between each pasuk. And they would also do this when they said Shir Malis in the morning, Shir Malis Minhagim, before Baruch Hu and Shachros. But then for some reason it stopped. It seems because when it says that when Rav Levi Yitzchak went to Eretz Yisrael and moved to Eretz Yisrael later on, he wanted to bring this minhag back, but he was not able to. And he said that this is a chisaron in the tzibor because we, when we didn't stop in between each pasuk, we had tons of Hisoyros. You can't imagine what type of Hisoyros we had. And just like today, when we say before the Tekiyos and Rosh Hashanah, we say Lamatzech, Livnei Korach Mizmor 7 times, B'loi Hafsik, right? And anybody who's been in Uman, anybody who's been in any shul, it's like, Hisoyros, everybody's screaming it, everybody's saying it together, it's nice. But the David Mizmor, we don't do that anymore. And this is also the reason of the custom of Rav Mordechai Dayan, who would say the Hallel Beretzef. He wouldn't stop, they would just say Hallel continuously. So it means like they would all say the whole entire Hallel together, and the Chazan would basically say it again, which is pretty tripped out. Okay. The nusach of the niggin of the piyut that we say on Yom Kippur night, the piyut of Ki Hine Kechomer B'Yad HaYotzer, which is known to the Breslovers. I don't know this niggin, but this niggin was made by Rebbe Nachman of Tulchin, the Tulchiner Rav. And they would not repeat the words Labris Habet. And they wouldn't change the niggin at all. They would sing between each keta. They would just say it was all one niggin echad in a beautiful, relaxing niggin. Interesting. Yom Kippurim, if Yom Kippur fell on Shabbos, they were not noig in Uman to say Mizmor LeDavid. Mizmor LeDavid. When did you say Mizmor LeDavid? Shem LeYachzor, I guess maybe. After the Chazan said the bracha Shechianu, they would say Mizmor Shili L'Yom HaShabbos only, like it's bought in the sefer Mateh Ephraim. And this is how the psak is in the Mishnah Berurah and the Ber Heitev Siman Tov Resh Yotes. And Rav Levi Yitzchak also wanted to do this in Eretz Yisrael, but he did not want to make any machlokes. So I guess it's not the way that we do it today. Shalosh Regalim Shechal B'Shabbos. Ein oilin az leduchen b'chutz laaretz ve'ein hakayim leisens kapem milvad yom kippur shechal b'Shabbos she'az oilim u'parshin. Shalosh regalim that fell on Shabbos, they would not go up to the duchen in Chutz La'aretz, which is weird. I think they do, but they don't sing. And the Kohanim they would only go up on Yom Kippur that fell on Shabbos. Okay, interesting. On Shabbos Chol HaMoed, they would not say by Friday night davening Kigavna. That was the Breslovers minhag not to do that, and I think that's most people's minhag today. Nusach Sfard, most Chassidim probably. On Chol HaMoed, also on Shabbos, the Breslovers would not sing Shalom Aleichem. They wouldn't sing any Zemir Shabbos except for Eishes Chayil and Azamer B'Shvuchin. And in the morning also, they didn't sing any Zemiros at all except for Asadr L'Sudasa, because it's Yichidusay L'Suda Shabbos. It's special for the Suda Shabbos. Okay. But Uman, they were noig to be machres before Musaf on the 8th day on Shmini Atzeres al Tfilas HaGeshem, and the Kal would already say in Musaf Mashav Ruach U'Mar HaGeshem. Mashiach came b'yom Aleph Shel Pesach, which is on the first day of Pesach. They would not be machres on Tal. They would not say to do Tal Machar Shegeshem Hu Bracha L'Olam. Because the Geshem is a bracha to the world, so you didn't want to say Tal. They were not machers on Tal. What does that mean? Macher after the Chazin, and he would already masker kfar be musaf al Geshem amru v'skiru imay k'may king kol tzibor, and I guess afterwards they would start saying Tal from after Musaf on the first day of Pesach. They wouldn't say the Musaf. And Sila Kute Halacha Silchas Tefillah Halacha Aleph. Okay, these are really interesting stuff over here. A little technical, but it's always good to know. On the days of the Tainus of Bahab, they were not noyig to fast berabim, and there was no minyan for the kriyas of Vayichal. Okay. In Uman, they were Menachem b'Chanukah. By Chanukah, there was 2 different tunes for Ana B'Koyach, which you say after lighting the menorah. One was known to the Breslovers, to the Anshe Shmenu. Vasheni, the second niggin was made by the Chazan of Schleusberg, HaMeforsam. And it says over here that it's Vehu Niggin Kasha. It's a very hard niggin. So I never heard that one. So I don't know what that one is, but yeah. Here it says, this is coming up, so this is interesting. Bilel Nito Nahagu Kiminag Roiva Oilam Shaloi Lilmoid. Breslovers were also known to hold of Nittel. So there's 2 nittles. There's December 25th of Xmas, I think, and then there's also January 4th. According to this, some people do both. Some people only do one, either the first one or the second one. I'm not sure if Breslovers do both, but it says over here that they just do one right now on the January 4th. On the night of January 4th, you do not learn Torah. Okay. Oh, and now we're again about Shovim Tat. In Shovim, because now we just entered Shovim also, so it's interesting. It says, from Rabbeinu, we don't know any special Seder of Hanhaga, like something special to do in the days of Shovim. We do know that there were Roiv Anshe Shemenu Livlila Echel Yom Echel Mimaisa Shua Shum Davar Menachai V'Rak B'Yom B'Loi Leila. This is interesting. Okay, so it said that there was a minhag in Breslov that during Shovim, each week of Shovim, there was one day where the Breslovers chose not to eat davar menachai, I guess like what's it called, like chicken and meat and stuff like that. Right? They basically go vegan for like a week. for one day, and only by the day and not by night. And actually, there's a whole article that I posted on the Breslovers news site about this, so maybe I'll link that in the description. And the source of it is from the Hanhagos of the Pitkoyish and Nasan Rabbeinu Lamshi Shemenu Hatzetlach. That there was when Rebbe Nachman would give Pitkoyis to each of the Chassidim with certain Hanhagos to do. Some guys would get to do fast, some guys would get to do Mishnayos, other things like that. And this is brought in sefer Siach Sarfei Simin Kuf Pehe. And the Zakanim of B'dayros, they're the ones who, what's it called? They were the ones who were metaking this, and it goes in in that article that I'll post. It explains why they were metaking it based off of these pitkayos that Rabbeinu gave to the Chassidim. And there was also some of the Chassidim would fast at least one day of the week. But we know that the Das Rabbeinu, Rebbe Nachman, would say was at the end, like towards the end of his life, he wasn't into telling people to fast anymore, except for obviously the fasts that are in halacha, but not to do like regular fasting by yourself, like just stam during the week. So they wouldn't, So they wouldn't fast the whole day. They would just taste a little bit before tefillas mincha, so that they wouldn't be mashal the time, so that they wouldn't complete the whole entire fast. Maybe I'll post about that. And then more about Shovevim. It says that there were some that would fast on Yom Chamishi, I guess, but also not Yimashlim, like we just said in the piece before. And also there were some that fast in Yom Shishi, but they didn't. But they didn't complete their fast, and they would taste a little bit, so that they would not also go into Shabbos Be'inoi with Shabbos suffering. And there were some people that were noig not to eat dav menachai yom echad b'shavua, like we just said. And to Rav Nosson, and during the days of Shovevim, Rav Nosson haya oz shnei shiurim midei yoim ba'amiras tehillim. He had 2 times in the day where he would say tehillim during Shovevim. And also he was also noig this in the days of Sfiras Omer. And he did this according to what it says in Likutei Moharan Tinyano Simin Ayin Gimel. Cool, man. In Uman, they were not noig to say slichus in the days of Shovevim. In Eretz Yisrael, Rav Levi Yitzchak was noig to say slichus, but tzibur be'beis hakneses Yeshuas Yaakov in the Shchunat Me'esharm, in Me'esharm, before Tfilas Havasikim. And he would tell a lot of the Breslovers to come say it with him, betzibur. Okay. Now back out of Shovevim and back into something else. Nusuch Amiras Haggadah. Hagidua Shoy Noig Boy Rav Levi Yitzchak Zal. The Nusuch that Rav Levi Yitzchak Bender would say the Haggadah. Amar Shaldaito Noivim Heim Nusuch Oivdei Hashem B'Shevachavuras Rabbi Sender Mitarvitz. This Nusuch came from the Oivdei Hashem that were in the Chabura of Rav Sender of Tarvitz. Shechoisner Rav Avram Mikilbach, who was the father-in-law or the son-in-law. I think the son-in-law, I always get confused, whatever, of Rav Aaron of Kibbutz, Shaya B'Tivoi Baal Menagin Nifla, L'Madam. He learned it from them. He was a Baal Menagin. So he made up this Nusach, and then Rav Sender learned it from him, and then they passed it down. In the Leil HaSeder, Noig Rabbi Aaron Kibbutzer, Rav Aaron Kibbutzer was a big Breslover. On the Leil HaSeder, he was Noig not to stop at all when he was reading the Megillah, not the Megillah, the Haggadah, at all, to be mefarish perushim mukadayma, right? Like people do, they stop every second and they say another thing, and you just want to eat your matzah. You know what I'm saying? Rak amorik keseder, he would say the whole entire thing keseder, pasuk after pasuk, yidish lehafsik esoyres v'savish aviris haggadah. And then afterwards, when they sat in the Suda, they would be ma'irich and mefarish this whole thing, and they would talk for hours and explain everything. The story of the journey of the Baal Shem Tov to Eretz Yisrael, which in Chutz La'aretz, in America, outside of Eretz Yisrael, not only America, but outside of Eretz Yisrael, anywhere, there's the Breslovers are noig, or whatever, it's a Chassidish minhag to say it on the last day of Pesach. what's it called? By the Sudas Mashiach, right? Which is which is outside of Eretz Yisrael on the last day of Pesach, and not on Shvi Shel Pesach. Because on the last day you're able to sit together a little time oz gam kibud kolshu. I guess maybe because on the last day it's not, you're allowed to whatever do gebrachs and all that stuff. So people are less makbid of, I guess, sitting with other people. I think that's what it means over there. But in Eretz Yisrael we do it on the Shvi Shel Pesach because we don't have an Achron Shel Pesach. Even though it says over here that they're Chazarosim l'Istanbul, when the Baal Shem Tov and his daughter came back to Istanbul from trying to go to Eretz Yisrael, it was on Shvi Shel Pesach. V'kan be'Eretz Yisrael me'achar sheshvi Shel Pesach hu achron Shel Pesach nehagin kein mimela. So we're also right. So basically, it's saying like in Eretz, like there's no Achron Shel Pesach in Eretz Yisrael, so you do it on Shvi Shel Pesach. Even right, and whatever, it matched up to the days because it was Shvi Shel Pesach. That's when they did it. Okay. The Breslovers were noig on Lag BaOmer to shoot with the keshes, bow and arrow. It's brought in sefer Midas that this is a segula for having children. Fine. The minhag is it's a little intense, okay? The minhag is over here that before the chuppah they were mefazim upayim the cyrus hakala. Her hair would be down, whatever. The girl's hair would be down before the chuppah, and after the chuppah they would chop her hair off with scissors, cut her hair off. I don't know if that's every Breslover today. I'm sure some do, whatever. It's a Chassidish minhag. Not everybody is holding of it. It's a difficult minhag. It's very intense. And they were dafka to do it with scissors and not with a razor, because they didn't want to do any like an isser of lo yilbash. Because I guess men would use razors and women didn't for their hair on their head, so they didn't do that. V'af kan be'Eretz Yisrael yadu shem Magid Yerushalmi Rav Ben Zion Yadler. Rav Ben Zion Yadler made the conditions with his daughter-in-laws to not cut their hair with a tar chalila, with a razor. So yeah, that's intense, man. But yeah, whatever, it's all good, you know. One time at a simchas chasana of one of the Breslovers, the minhag of the Breslovers was to come to the chuppah and to be misamech, the chassan and kala and everybody like that. Right, but they didn't spend such a long time doing it because they went back to their houses that they get up for chatzos. And only the Kroivim and the Bnei Mishpacha would stay till the end of the wedding. The Noyeg, the Baal, that of the Lel Habris, Mila of a child, the Baal Habris, they would be mischalik the night. They would split the night up. The Baal Habris, the Moil and the Sandik would stay up at night, each one different part of the night, 1/3 of the night, and they would say tefillos and bakashas hanuhugim. That's pretty intense. If you can get your moil and your sandik to do that today, probably be whatever, big trip. It's known to say as a segula in any Eis Tzara 6 times. Yisrael ben Sar Baal Shem Tov befrat lemakshel leiled. We don't know if this is a segula that helps for all of Bnei Yisrael or only for Nechtei Baal Shem Tov. This is from Rabbi Hirsch Leib Lipo Zal. And even though the Breslovers were not noyeg to write shvachim, praises, on the gravestones of people who died, but the yichus they would write, because this is something that's true. Amiti betachas, I guess, to know their yichus. They were very makbid to not bring into a shul any little girl, even like a baby. But yeah, that's also like pretty intense, you know. Remember, these things are not like set in stone, you know. These are just things that Breslovers did. This I've seen by funerals of Breslovers, that the Breslovers would say to the person who's dead, they would say that he should run straight to Rebbe Nachman, and he shouldn't let anybody confuse him when he gets up to Shemaim. And you have to remember where you're coming from, where you're going. And they would do this before they closed up the grave. And as they're carrying the body, whatever, and it's all you carry the body. They don't have coffins here. So like when they're carrying the body, and just whatever, carry in Tzfat cemetery in the stretcher and you put them in the ground, and like everybody's screaming like run to Rabbeinu. It gets pretty crazy. All right, that's it. That's the end of this little section over here of things. Maybe they have some other cool stuff over here called Inyanim Shoinim and Sipurei Tzadikim. Maybe we'll start reading some Sipurei Tzadikim again if I have some time. But anyway, that's the second video of Breslov Minhagim. So, enjoy it.